Very excited for our next guest. Very excited. Edward Dowd is a founding partner with the global macro alternative investment firm Phinance Technologies. In his Wall Street career, he's worked in both credit markets and equity markets for firms including HSBC, Donaldson, Lufkin, and Jenrette, Independence Investments, and most notably at BlackRock as a portfolio manager, where he spent 10 years managing a $14 billion growth equity portfolio. 2022 saw the release of his book, Cause Unknown, here it is right here, The Epidemic of Sudden Deaths in 2021 and 2022. Please welcome to the show, Ed Dowd.
Thanks, Jimmy. Great to be here.
So tell people, can you just tell people what your background is, right? Because you're a numbers guy, you're a finance guy, and somehow you stumbled onto this idea that excess deaths were happening, and they were happening coincidentally right after the rollout of the vaccine. So tell me how you got started in finance, and go ahead and take it away wherever you want.
Yeah, sure. I started my career after college at Notre Dame at HSBC in Chicago. I was a fixed income salesperson, and I was introduced to credit markets, currency markets, the Federal Reserve, Treasury issuance, all sorts of debt trading. And I happened to be there from 1990 to 95, and I saw a bunch of scandals unfold in my early career. There was the Orange County crisis. If you lived in California, that guy was fooled by a lot of Wall Street people and bought a bunch of bonds that went south on him, and they had a big bankruptcy problem. If you remember the Orange County Pension Fund in the 90s. I
vaguely remember something about that. Yes, I vaguely remember that. But go ahead.
And there was a firm, Kidder Peabody, and there was a trader. This is before computers were really interlinked in the trading system. He wrote a trade and hid the trades in his drawer, and caused Kidder Peabody to go bankrupt. So I saw tomfoolery at a very early age. Then I went back to business school and went to Wall Street after business school in 1997 at Donaldson, Lufkin, Jenrette, and I was an electric utility analyst. And there I was in equity research. And right down the hall from me were the internet guys. And I was in electric utilities, which is sleepy and boring, not a lot going on, widows and orphans. But down the hall, I was a junior analyst, not making a lot of money, working long hours right out of business school. The kids down the hall were making $1 million a year, and their senior analyst was making $20 million a year because there was the dot-com frenzy. And what they were doing was issuing IPOs, initial public offerings, that were based on eyeballs. And the scam there was due diligence was something investment banks were supposed to do, which was figure out if a company had things, simple things like revenues and cash flow. That didn't occur. And then we saw the aftermath of the dot-com bubble, and I went on from there to become a technology analyst and watched with much awe people telling me, Ed, it's a new paradigm. You don't understand. I just happen to be a guy that looks at history, noticed that bubbles have kind of a psychological event to it. So there was this mass psychosis in the investment world where people believed it was a new thing. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates, and a bunch of fraud was exposed. Corporate fraud, Enron, WorldCom, Phinance Technologies, they all fell apart. They're all playing games. I went on to BlackRock, became a young portfolio manager in 2002, and watched with awe again as we saw the housing nonsense and that fraud unfold. And again,
what was the phrase they used then? So back then it's a new paradigm. What did they say for the housing? What was the saying?
That was home prices never go down. So that was the paradigm then. And the catchphrase we're in now for this, I call this the biggest fraud of our lifetimes: safe and effective. That's the new catchword, safe and effective. That was the mantra of this cycle.